back with you. We remain with the legal fraternity in South Africa, going under scrutiny over the recent rise in cases of unethical practices. According to the Legal Practice Council, about 50 legal practitioners have been either suspended or struck off the roll as of August 2024. Now, to help us understand this and whether or not this places our justice system under threat, we are joined by Professor Steve Cornelius, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Law at the Pretoria University. Prof, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. Are we seeing a troubling rise according to your numbers? I mean, if 50 are suspended or struck off the roll at this particular point, are we seeing a rise, and is this a troubling rise?
Well, I do think we see a bit of a rise. I wouldn't call it troubling, and I don't necessarily think the legal profession is in a crisis as a result. I think it's a testament to the fact that the mechanisms that are put in place to oversee the legal profession are working, and that they are doing their job. And, you know, the legal profession is like any other profession that we have, and it's like society as a whole. You know, whenever you have a society, there will be a number of people who do not follow the rules and to have to be disciplined, unfortunately. Also, unfortunately, because the legal profession is supposed to be the one that upholds the law, but it is a sad fact of life that we will have legal practitioners that do try to bend the rules in various ways. The reasons why legal professionals are being investigated and suspended can be varied. And, you know, so I think the system is working, and the cases that we do see are because people have confidence in the reporting systems and in the process that will take action.
According to Judge Shapiro, he's highlighted a trend which he says is an alarming trend, showing contempt for the judiciary. How severe a transgression is that?
Well, of course, one has to keep in mind that the legal professional is actually appointed by the court. We are officers of the court. So when you are admitted as an attorney or as an advocate, you are admitted as an attorney of the High Court of South Africa. And the same with an advocate. You're an advocate of the High Court. So in other words, you are an official of the court. And therefore, contempt of court is really a very serious transgression, because it means that you are, in a sense, not showing the necessary respect to the systems that you are sworn to uphold. And also showing respect to the judiciary. It's not about showing respect to the particular individual who sits on the bench. It is respect to the office that that person bears, and the importance of the work that they are doing in our society. And it's therefore important that legal officers and specifically the attorneys and advocates should know their place and should show the necessary decorum and respect for the judiciary.
Does that then, therefore, for you, Prof, become just a professional issue of the fact that, look, if I think one particular what would I say, car mechanic is not doing a good job, I have a choice of going to another, and so it really just affects his business? Or is the impact maybe more broader than just that?
I think the impact is slightly more broader than that. It is a question. I would rather more compare it to a medical practitioner. You know, if a medical practitioner is guilty of malpractice, it's similar. The impact is more than just having a broken car or having an inconvenience. It actually impacts severely on the lives of people. And that is why also we have these various mechanisms in the legal professions, as we have in the medical profession, where we have these mechanisms to actually investigate complaints and to make findings if there are cases of misconduct. So I do think it's crucial, and it's different from instances where we have a poor service delivery in a motor mechanic or a shop selling me a defective product. The impact and the knock-on effect, I think, can be much more profound in the case of the legal profession.
Now, you speak of the institutions like law faculties, like the Legal Practice Council, like the General Council of the Bar of South Africa. Are they addressing the problems?
Certainly, they are. There's actually three levels of accounting for legal professionals in South Africa. So the first one is the Legal Practice Council, and the Legal Practice Council has a duty to uphold and the integrity of the profession, and they take that aspect very, very seriously. Because you know how it goes. It takes one legal professional to give everybody a bad name. And let's be honest, lawyers don't have the best reputation as it is, you know. So I think they take that very, very seriously. Of course, resorting under them would be the General Council of the Bar, the provincial councils, and so on. And they all have a vested interest in ensuring that the highest standards are maintained. But then there's also a legal practice ombud, where members of the public can lay complaints. And most importantly, because we are officers of the courts themselves also have an oversight function, and can sanction legal professionals. So there's really a threefold process in place that can be used. Most often it is the Legal Practice Council that would intervene, and if there are cases of misconduct before the courts would primarily refer it to the Legal Practice Council, but they don't have to. They can actually also exercise their own discretion in sanctioning legal professionals. So it's very important that professionals also keep that in mind. And as I say, maintain the decorum of the court and also the integrity of the profession.
Yeah. Prof, there's an observation around that discretion, for example, in using the tool of suspension. The others are saying, well, using suspension has some kind of potential hazard to the public of an errant attorney making its way back into the system. What's your view on that?
There's always that kind of risk, but I do think suspension is a very serious sanction. It means for the period of suspension that attorney cannot earn an income, which is a very serious intervention. And of course, they can be completely removed from the role of practicing attorneys or advocates, in which case, you know, all the years of work and the studying and everything they did to get there is basically goes for naught. So there are serious interventions, but there's always the risk that somebody who has been suspended or even disbarred can, you know, fool the public into taking cases, just as there is the risk that somebody who isn't even qualified or never have been admitted as a lawyer can also fool the public in that sense. And that is also why, you know, the public needs to be vigilant and make sure who they deal with. And of course, the Legal Practice Council will, to the extent that it is possible for them, monitor that and try to see that it does not happen.
Yeah. Now, in the advent of what others are calling lawfare, particularly in the political space, how important is it for the profession itself, for law firms to come together and agree on some level of what would be an anti-corruption stance?
It's crucial. I think it's very, very important. And it's not, again, that is where the Legal Practice Council comes in. There's a code of conduct for attorneys and advocates that they need to abide by, and they need to maintain that standard. So law firms and individual practitioners must ensure that they abide by that code of standard and that they follow that, you know, to the highest degree that they can.
Appreciate your time, Professor Steve Cornelius, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Law at the Pretoria University.